I think I'm going to play this while I go pee. The last time I had to talk about these points of view was when I was talking to Trainwrecks, dude.
And the first thing I did was I ran to Twitter.
He's just posting my greatest hits right now.
And the question, of course, is whether there's an inconsistency.
You're not Sunny V2, homie. This man watched 4 clip chimps and called it a day. Oh, ew, it's a Rumble link? Ew. Ew, I can't believe I'm clicking on a Rumble. I feel dirty.
By virtue of Sanders and AOC do that same thing. His name is Hasan Piker. He is a very popular person on Twitch, which is the Amazon-owned streaming and gaming site. He first came to prominence, if you can call it that, because he's the nephew of Cenk Uygur, the host of...
If you can call it that? Oh, he's like still dissing me. He's like, if you can call it prominence. It's like, okay, why are you talking about me then? I agree. I am not a prominent figurehead in any fucking movement. So why the fuck are you covering me then, you fucking weirdo? What a loser. He's literally like, he's negging me, dude. He said Cenk Uygur, by the way, which is like, I've never heard that.
Of the Young Turks. He's Cenk's nephew. But he's now built a large audience that listens to him talk about left-wing politics. And I put that in scare quotes because at the end of the day, it's really just a way of herding people into the Democratic Party. And he has become extremely rich by virtue of his popularity on Twitch. And not only extremely rich, but he lives a life of gluttonous capitalistic consumption. At the same time that he constantly condemns other people for being capitalist, he claims to be a socialist. And the question, of course, is whether there's an inconsistency between...
Guys, this man is an award-winning journalist. I don't know what to say. Like, I grew up looking up to this man. That is crazy to me. Oh, my God. It's really fucked up that Hasan has made a lot of money while you know, preaching about socialism. He's not living his values. Let's hear what else.
The way in which he lives his life through extreme amounts of luxurious material wealth on the one hand, and his demands that society become more socialistic on the other. Just like John Kerry flies to conferences to yell at everybody about climate change, but then flies on a private jet, or the people who Davos do.
Wait, he's saying John Kerry flying to Davos in a private jet is just like me owning a house in California, Los Angeles, where the housing market is absolutely fucked, and having a Porsche that I leased. I could have bought outright, but still. This is the same thing. Like, I'm ruining, because I'm saying, like, you know, no one should have a house, famously. Like, that's my argument. My argument is, like, home ownership should be not a thing that anyone can have. Everyone should be living in cardboard boxes. This is what I advocate for. No nice things, no luxurious items for you. Never. We need to live this rugged life, this Spartan lifestyle.
Or Robert Reich doing the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. So let's look first at his at this inconsistency that...
Bro, he has... What is going on, dude? This is awesome. I love this guy, bro. Yo, his entire brother, my man is going. He went from working with like actual whistleblowers to doing a collage of tweets. This is crazy, dude. Which one of your aunties put this together for him? You know what's crazy? I think he's the auntie. He's the one who put this together.
Seems to be pretty evident. Here you see the headline from April of last year from Insider. The headline there is, leftist political commentator Hasan Piker faces criticism for buying a nearly $3 million home in Los Angeles County. Now, obviously, the criticism isn't that he bought a home. Everybody needs a home. Everybody needs a place to live. You shouldn't be expected to have to live on the street. The question is...
Wait. Didn't this motherfucker literally live in a mansion in Brazil, like in a compound? Like, he got a puff piece written by the New York Times back in the day. You buying a place that would go for 400 to 700K elsewhere? Opulent. Glenn living in a compound in Brazil, living in socialistic poverty. A question I have for Glenn, I guess, is this. If, like he mentioned, I am not a prominent figure, why did he choose to, in the same breath, dedicate an entire segment with collages about my home purchases and you know what car I drive or whatever. If I'm just like some rando, which I think I am, okay, why did he then follow on with this like unhinged ass rant?
If somebody is so wealthy and uses their wealth for this kind of extreme...
I wonder if Glenn Greenwald's objective and unbiased coverage will showcase the numerous, if you consider to be charity, to be like some kind of social distribution, which I don't, but I wonder if he would bring that up. I wonder if he would bring up any of the numerous fundraisers, charitable donations. Probably not, right? I would assume it's just like he gets the money, and he doesn't even gift subs at the top of the hour. He serves a 3-minute ad break, and he doesn't even gift any subs and expects others to do so to avoid said ads, and then says for $5 or for free, you can avoid those 3-minute ad breaks at the top of the hour. It's fucked up.
Materialistic consumption, while insisting that wealth inequality is immoral, that we should restructure fundamentally our society, and everybody else should give up the kind of inequality he has in his life.
For the record, this would imply me as well. I don't know why Glenn or anyone who criticizes this doesn't realize that. When I say we need to change the way that we tax people in this country, right? To have a higher implementation of capital gains taxes, for example, and to treat it like property taxes in some respects, or even increase the top marginal tax rate for the wealthiest individuals in this country. I'm talking about myself too. Well, the capital gains one doesn't really pertain to me, unfortunately, or I guess because I just don't really have a lot of stocks or anything like that. But I'm talking about myself as well. And yet, for some reason, Glenn always is acting like, oh, dude, you don't want that for yourself. You just want it for everybody else. Like, I've never said that. I live in Los Angeles, California. And unfortunately, you need a car to live here. That is just how it works. You just have to have a car. They very deliberately gutted the public transit system in this wonderful state, in this wonderful city. You need a car to live here. So I have the Taycan, right? And I've said time and time again, I'd fucking throw the Taycan in the ocean if tomorrow we had a better public transit system. I don't want to need to have a car. I have lived in cities where there was no need to have a car my whole life, for longer than I've lived in cities where I do need a car. I lived in Istanbul and Ankara. Never once did I think about having a car, driving a vehicle. There was plenty of opportunities for public transit in those cities, which, by the way, were still not great. Istanbul is much better than Ankara, but still, there's a lot of work to be done there too. Making socialism out to be a poverty cult is a great way of invalidating outspoken socialism, of course. And usually it's done by design, or it's done unintentionally by those who have also fallen to the inherently right-wing, inherently reactionary, McCarthyist-style Red Scare propaganda. Socialism means you need to live an ascetic lifestyle. Socialism means that you need to live a Spartan lifestyle. You need to live in a fucking cardboard box. You cannot have any sort of like hedonistic tendencies. You need to be a good person. And what I believe is a good person is the things that I don't even do myself. I am a right-wing person telling you I believe that living in more modesty is actually a good thing. I don't do it personally, but I think you should do it. When that's not the case, if that was the case, then Warren Buffett would be the best person. He would be the biggest socialist. He still drives his own old Subaru. He still eats at McDonald's every morning. Okay, is Warren Buffett the most socialist motherfucker on the planet then? He does a lot of charitable donations too. Of course not. You ask that question to people, they would lose their fucking minds. They would be like, oh, of course, that's not the
There's
case.
some inconsistency in that way. So let's look at the article first. It says, Hasan Piker, one of Twitch's leading political commentators, is facing a wave of criticism after purchasing a home in West Hollywood, as followers accuse the self-described, quote, leftist of being hypocritical. The 3,800 square foot home with 5 bedrooms and
Yeah, by the way, that literally betrays the notion.
5.5 bathrooms. This is a single person in his late 20s or 30s with no wife, no children. He has a 5 bedroom, 5.5 bathroom, located in the Beverly Grove neighborhood, cost $2.74 million, according to
I mean, this is just like stalking and doxing, I guess, but whatever.
the real estate news website, Dirt. Now, he has invoked all of the standard arguments that people in left liberal culture use, why you should ignore the way in which they're living their lives, the choices that they're making, the values reflected by those choices, and instead only focus on systemic questions and not hold them accountable or find it odd that the way in which they're choosing their lives seems to be contrary to the values they want to impose on everybody else. So,
well, Lemo, he said you have no wife or kids, so you can have a one-bedroom home. First of all, this is not my house. Like, this is literally fucking footage from whoever was trying to sell it. Like, it's insane that he's like showing this shit, making it seem like this is my current house, current furniture, anything like that. But he also said I don't have like a wife or children, okay? Which is wild, because if that's the case, my mom is living with me right now. Like, you could have done at least a little bit of fucking research. But of course, Glenn is not interested in honest, truth, objective coverage. He's making it seem like I'm the one who was like, I really want to pay $2.7 million. He's making it seem like I'm the one who actually dumped $2.7 million flat and paid for the house cash, which is fucking psychotic. Of course I didn't. It's a down payment on a place that I currently work inside of, on a place where I can house my family for extended durations throughout the fucking year, including my brother and my mom and my dad, okay, and my cousin who's supposed to be here soon this week, which is fucking insane. All of this stuff is wild. This is not journalism. This is Glenn trying to write the same old narrative over and over and over again, that like, socialism means you have to be poor. Socialism means you can't have a nice house. Socialism means you're a hypocrite if you have a nice house in Los Angeles.
Good. Pictures of his home. There's the interior, very, very spacious and very nice. Here's an outdoor shot of the home from the real estate listing. Now, he has a whole variety of excuses that, again, come from the way in which the left has insisted.
Which, by the way, he's literally comparing me to Robert Reich, Bill Clinton's labor secretary, now, academic Robert Reich. He's comparing me to John Kerry. I don't even think Glenn Greenwald personally believes in any of this shit, though.
That personal conduct doesn't matter. Here, let's just look at a couple of tweets. Here he is sarcastically complaining, quote, socialism is when you live in a shed built by hand off the grid. So in other words, he's saying, people are attacking me for living in a house. I'm supposed to live in a shed. No one's suggesting that. It's just, there's a big...
So what are you suggesting? What are you suggesting? First of all, that's a joke. But what are you suggesting then? That like I check in with you on what kind of living accommodations I should have for myself and my family? Is that what socialism is? Socialism is when, people give you voluntary donations that they don't even have to give you, and then you take those voluntary donations and put a down payment on a fucking house, and then I have to ask Glenn Greenwald what kind of house I should buy. Thanks, Glenn. Yeah, no, I know.
The difference between living in a house and buying a multi-million-dollar mansion in Los Angeles with 5 bathrooms and 5.5 bedrooms while you claim to be a socialist. Here's another complaint in his video crying about my house and income. Ben Shapiro said, quote, is a worker not entitled to the fruits of his labor as a talking point in support of capitalism?
No, I said that. Yeah. In his video crying about my house, Ben Shapiro says, is a worker not entitled to the fruits of his labor as a talking point in support of capitalism? In the most reductive terms, that is literally the core of socialism. It is. This is one of my favorite conversations to have. Because is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow is from BioShock, right? Is a man not entitled to the fruits of his labor is unironically a Marxist quote that libertarians deploy at the behest of capital owners. Like, you are too stupid to understand the context behind it. You have to literally look at that situation and go, wow, in BioShock, the libertarians were the good guys. No, it's like when anti-abortion psychopaths claim to be pro-life. That doesn't actually mean they're pro-life. They have just adopted a position that makes it seem like their unimaginably psychotic worldview is actually more manageable, is actually more palatable. They're anti-choice, but they claim to be pro-life. You haven't even given me a single fucking good take in this that I haven't heard, that I don't consider to be unique. It's kind of sad. The last time I had to talk about these points of view was when I was talking to Trainwrecks, dude.
In the most reductive terms, that is literally the core of socialism. And then here he is again attacking what he calls left Twitter weirdos.
Which, by the way, he should understand. Left Twitter weirdos is why he radicalized into what he is now, isn't it?
For noting this inconsistency, saying they and Breitbart.
Wait, but okay, he's just posting my greatest hits right now.
Are on the same page, that socialism means you have no house. So this is the set of arguments that they have as to why you should ignore personal behavior.
That's not even the case. There's personal behavior. Like if I bought a fucking yacht or some shit, or if I was routinely flying on private jets, then you could fucking shit on me. He also purposely cropped the likes and retweets. Yeah, exactly. He could have very easily found an effective counter, but that would require him to, one, actually do research and not just fucking screenshot some of my tweets like a fucking unhinged stan.
There's a comic, I think we have this, that has become very popular in left-wing politics. If we don't have that, we can put that up. It's essentially a comic mocking the idea. Here it is. It's a cartoon here.
Bro, this is like Joe Rogan. Like, this is Joe Rogan's Facebook meme. Oh, my God. He's going to put the Matt Boris comic up. Oh, my God. He's going to put the Matt Boris comic up. Oh, God, I'm going to die.
That anyone whose life wildly contradicts the political values they claim to believe in might have a difficult time acting with credibility. Here you see that.
Brother, if I was union busting, okay, if I was literally fucking mistreating people that I work with, if I was doing any number of those things, then you could have an argument here. But I don't do any of those things, so you don't have an argument there, so you have to fucking move on to like me buying a house. I am literally the only person, it seems, in the United States of America, in the political commentary sphere, that is not allowed to own a home. Okay? That's what this argument is. Or at least a home that they have chosen for me.
The critique reduced to someone saying we should improve society somewhat, and then the person that you're supposed to mock saying, yet you participate in society. Curious, I am very intelligent. So this is what John Kerry would point.
He's just mad. And also tying me to John Kerry in this way is so funny. John Kerry, it has proximity to power. John Kerry is not a fucking dumbass Twitch streamer. How brain broken are you? Like, your photo yesterday shows your level. Hanging out with Oliver Tree is not the same thing as being the former Secretary of State.
Changing from arguing society should be better and should be changed. That's what David Geffen would say. Yes, I have a mega yacht. I'm just participating.
Yeah, David Geffen would say that. Me and David Geffen are the same. You have been growing on YouTube over the past 5 years? Yeah, but that doesn't mean shit, dude. What are you talking about? Okay, let's compare Hasanabi to Glenn Greenwald. How about that on YouTube search? Oh. Never mind. Now I see why he's doing this on Rumble. Oops. Compare with John Kerry. I mean, yeah, on YouTube, John Kerry is not going to get a lot of play, I assume, but yeah. But like, that goes to show you, YouTube search results do not mean anything, okay? That's the point. John Kerry, my least favorite YouTuber. I hated his latest prank videos.
Participating in the system, it doesn't mean that I can't argue that society should be different and that we should solve the climate crisis collectively. This is the argument they have built in to their politics. Now, so extreme is this refusal to accept any personal responsibility that they'll go around, oftentimes, the people who have these inconsistencies, criticizing other people for pursuing lives of material wealth. So I want to show you a couple videos that Hasan Piker recently posted, in which he talked about both myself and Matt Taibbi and claimed that the reason Matt Taibbi and
now we know why he's doing that.
and I have changed our politics, which is his view, is because we're the ones who are seeking material wealth. Let me show you a couple of these.
That's what's going on. Now we get it. Glenn Greenwald fucking claws back like a charlatan because he's so mad that I correctly called out that he fucking changed his politics for that sweet Substack cash, baby. Let's go.
Videos that
More like, yeah, Glenn Greenwald.
that he just recently posted within the last week.
It's from the Majority Report, I suspect.
I
don't
don't care. I like his defense of.
This is, by the way, Hasan Piker on his very popular Twitch show that earns him millions of dollars a month, responding to a conversation between the former New York Times reporter Chris Hedges, who left the paper because he was objecting to their support for the Iraq War, talking to Brianna Joy Gray, and Chris.
By the way, I literally defended Chris Hedges and said that he's great. And I think that in that same video, I'm sure he won't admit to that because he wants to make it seem like I'm shitting on Chris Hedges.
Had defended myself, Matt Taibbi, Jimmy Dore, claiming that we haven't changed our political views at all, that instead the Democratic Party people
Millions of dollars a month. Yeah, but yeah, I make millions of dollars a month. He's right.
like Hasan Piker and others on the left have become tools of the establishment. And since we continue to oppose establishment doctrine, they see us as being on the other side and think we've switched sides, whereas in reality, they're the ones who have done so to stay on the right side of the mainstream line. He's responding to that critique. And
Yeah, bro, the right side is actually Donald Trump. Somehow. I don't know how you square that fucking hole, but
here's what he said.
Of Glenn Greenwald, who makes like literally, I think, $250,000 a month, or no, more than that actually. Glenn Greenwald's Substack makes him like $1 million a month or some shit like that. Like Glenn Greenwald makes significantly more money than I do on a monthly basis from his Substack. That's kind of weird since you are the same and Glenn and Taibbi fell off and went right wing. Yeah, I know, but he thinks that that's like truthful because there's agreements there. Okay? He agrees with some of the things that, as an older guy, he agrees with some of the fucking things that Matt Taibbi and Glenn Greenwald say about like wokeness and woke culture. He's never heard me talk about it or criticize it. He's only seen me as the guy who buys a fucking house.
So, first of all, almost everything he said about me there was completely false.
Is that why he just like said a bunch of false shit about me? Like that's what he's saying? Sometimes the clips are so fucking funny when you're shown on like a serious news show. Brother, what Glenn is doing is not necessarily a serious news show. What he's doing is basically an incredibly low budget fall from grace Rumble play that he made for as much money as he possibly could get out of the right. Good on him. Keep milking the right. My man, keep doing it.
There were lies. The amounts of money that he claimed I make on Substack, where I'm not even anymore. I've now moved to locals, but even when I was at Substack, those numbers are completely made up. They're so wildly exaggerated to the point of just being lies. They're in a completely different universe. As well as the fact that Matt Taibbi and I have become...
The guy who compared me to $8 billion net worth David Geffen and Robert Reich and John Kerry is upset, who said I make millions of dollars, is upset that I guess said that he makes millions of dollars on Substack. I'm surprised because, yeah, he said I make millions of dollars a month on the disparity between your net worth and $8 billion is probably a lot bigger than the disparity between your guess on how much he makes on Substack versus how much he actually makes. It's not even that, but you were generous. You started at 300K and then went to maybe $1 million. No, I don't know exactly how much he makes because he, unlike myself, has hidden his number when he was... Substack is like Twitch but boring for reading, okay? It's for posters that post on Twitter to go and like write longer posts on another website where you have to pay $5 a month or whatever. Someone here says he's making around 180K a month from Substack. Yeah, this was a According to an estimate from the Financial Times on Wednesday, Glenn Greenwald, Substack's most notable writer, makes between 80 to 160,000 in subscriptions every month and is set to make up to $2 million a year. This was in 2021. I'm pretty sure that grew before he moved on and away from Substack.
He claimed I spoke inaccurately about his role in a much less extreme way than these lies Hasan Piker told about me. And the first thing I did upon getting his email was I ran to Twitter. I urged people to go read Richard Grenell's version of events, disputing what I had said, and then invited him on my show to clear the air. That's what you do if you're a person who has even minimal integrity. What he did, Hasan Piker, was he ignored what I sent him. He didn't correct any of what he said about me there. And then he went back and again.
Wait, he sent me a DM? Is that what he's saying? I didn't even see it. That's awesome. Oh my God, he did. Last time I talked to Glenn was November 1st, 2020. I said, no, lol, you don't have to play video games at all. All you need is the Discord. I use it like Skype. It's more secure because I was trying to like get him on and have a conversation with him. I've had Lee Fong on with it and Ryan Grimm all the time through Discord. He never responded to that. And then he sent me, hi, Hasan. Someone sent me a clip where you referenced me for a bit. Not sure if this was from this week, but it seems recent. I'm sending a few points of clarification. I'm not angry. I'm not suggesting you lied or did anything in bad faith, but it's just to clarify in case you mention it again. Bro, this man sent me this DM on April 12th. You want to know something? He sent it at 5:31 a.m. Yeah, bro. I didn't see it. My bad. You know how many fucking DMs I get? Are you insane? Oh my God, it's so long. It's so many paragraphs. My man literally said, I sent you DMs at 5 a.m. You didn't see it. And instead of like following up on it, I decided to dox you to my fucking right-wing fan base. He's behaving like a YouTube essayist. Like I expect some fucking random YouTube essayist to just like make a lot of glaringly obvious mistakes in their coverage. I don't expect a guy who was probably one of the most important journalists in contemporary history to do that on such a short period of time. Like you're not Sonny V2, homie. You're Glenn motherfucking Greenwald. You exposed NSA surveillance on allied nations and the United States of America on domestic. You exposed the FISA courts. Like, he's miffed because the DM was ignored. He's such a diva. I mean, he is. This man played a formative role in getting the current leader of Brazil out of prison, which he was unjustifiably imprisoned under. Okay? Him and his team of researchers in Brazil did that. That is very important, okay? That's a very important thing that he did. Very important piece of journalism that he did. That wasn't that long ago. Now he's talking about a fucking dumbass himbo Twitch streamer with the same severity. But unfortunately, it seems he's lost his touch on the investigative reporting side.
Again said that both Matt Taibbi and I have political views that we've adopted because we are interested in getting rich. Let's look at, this is him saying this again. This is several days after I sent him those corrections.
Straight up. He's like a hard listen. That's how big of a fan I was. And like, I didn't see these corrections. I don't know why he thought. And honestly, it's really sad to see him fall from grace like this.
He's talking about Matt Taibbi here, and then he moves to me.
You know, straight up. He's like a hard listen. That's how big of a fan I was. The irony is that I'm also talking about like a hard listen as in like his vocal fry. And honestly, it's really sad to see him fall from grace like this, but I think he's caked up, so he's doing all right. You know, good for him. But the thing is, you know, they want to make money wherever they can. I feel like it's like half genuine ideological separation from the rest of the left, which they, I guess, somewhat were a part of. They certainly were a part of. And when I say they, I mean Glenn Greenwald and Matt Taibbi. And partially because there is
some money to be made in that other direction.
Okay, so first of all, just this idea that someone like him is the gatekeeper of who's on the left and who's not. I don't care about these labels. I never have. I've never claimed any label other than civil libertarian or anti.
Wow, that's funny because I'm the same. I don't give a fuck about these labels either, even though you're like, you have created a false notion of what it means to be like a socialist that you just completely are adopting from the reactionary right-wing McCarthyist perspective of what it means to be a socialist, which is like, well, you have to be in a dire, like incredibly poor or you know, in a lifestyle that you have personally decided is appropriate. And then using that and bashing me in the fucking head with it in the same way that like every one of my fucking dumbass haters have, which is ironic because those guys didn't want a fucking Pulitzer.
Authoritarian. I don't care who's on the left and who's on the right. It doesn't interest me at all. But the fact that somebody like him, who urges his followers to go and support people like Gavin Newsom and Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, thinks he's the gatekeeper of who's a real leftist and who isn't.
No, I just said I don't want Larry Elder to be my governor, which was a valid concern.
Joe Biden thinks he's the gatekeeper of who's a real leftist and who isn't.
He's saying I'm a gatekeeper of who's a real leftist.
It's what you do when you actually want to pursue material wealth. There's a very clear way that you do that. Everybody knows the easiest way to get rich in media and politics. It is not by doing what Matt Taibbi and I did. The easiest way to get rich in American politics is to attach yourself to the liberal left wing of the.
That's so crazy. Yeah, totally. That's why Steven Crowder is like complaining about a $50 million deal. Yeah, no. That's why you only see motherfuckers who like leave the left and go on a right-wing tangent. I have never seen someone who, other than like on their own volition, has moved. I've never seen somebody move to the left for material gain, okay? Maybe liberalism. He's not wrong about that. You could make money doing that for sure. I'm not getting paid by CNN, dog. I'm not getting paid by MSNBC. So what the fuck does that matter? I'm not getting paid by right-wing billionaires or right-wing platforms that are built by right-wing billionaires.
The Democratic Party and constantly spout all sorts of claims in opposition to Donald Trump and the conservative movement. Go on air every day and say that Trump is a fascist, that Trump is beholden to Russia, that he's Putin's boyfriend.
I'm not one of those people, so I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
The way that everybody in media and politics have gotten rich over the last 6 years is by spouting left liberal tripe. So here, for example, is the top Substack performers, the people who make the most money on Substack. And there you see at the top, this is very recent, so it's after I left, the #1 earner on Substack.
Huh, interesting. After he left. Yeah, the Free Press by Barry Weiss. Like, I don't know who the fuck Heather Cox Richardson is, but Barry Weiss, Matt Taibbi, The Bulwark, and Dr. Mercola's censored library private membership. I wonder what these guys' politics are. I really want to know what these guys' politics are. Oh, I guess if Heather Cox Richardson, who I guess is a liberal, okay, that's what he's going to say. I wonder who these other guys and what their personal politics are. This man watched 4 clip chimps and called it a day. He didn't even show the whole clip. Also, he literally bragged about getting more money from Rumble, which is, you know, Peter Thiel's operation, isn't it? After he says left-wing politics makes the most money, it's too perfect.
By far, by millions of dollars. She makes an estimated $5 million a year. I believe it's more now, based on my knowledge. She's been the richest and highest earner on Substack from the start, is a Boston College history professor named Heather Cox Richardson, who is the living, breathing embodiment of #resistance politics. Every single day, she goes onto this extremely lucrative Substack page and writes an article under the
Heather Cox Richardson is a Harvard history professor who grew up in boarding school, so libbed up her Substack reads as DNC propaganda. Yeah, I'm sure it is. But again, it's incredibly funny that, like, he's just saying one person, but on his own screenshot, the rest are all right-wing. You know what I mean? He's like, wow, you know who makes the most money? 1 out of the top 5 in your list is a liberal. So to the right of me, regardless, but even then.
Thinnest skies of academic scholarship in which she uses her history credentials to compare Trump to Hitler and Genghis Khan and, you know, every authoritarian, tyrannical despot that has ever existed. She feeds these liberals, these left liberals, this whole narrative about Donald Trump and his movement, and that's all she does. In fact, there was a recent report in Axios that the Biden White House is thinking about integrating the top influencers online who are loyalists to the Democratic Party in the White House, so they can actually work from the White House or have an open channel to the White House. And she's one of the people, the top person, in fact.
Yeah, just like me, Glenn. Thanks, dog. You know, just like me, a loyalist to the DNC who has an open line of communication to the White House. Bro, the White House went to Twitch to bring on Anthony Fauci onto this platform. Okay? Anthony Fauci was doing the rounds. Remember when he was like trying to urge people to go vaccinate and whatever? Who's the largest fucking news content creator on Twitch? I am, right? The White House personally told Twitch that Anthony Fauci would not be appearing on my broadcast. I would have loved to have Anthony Fauci on my broadcast. I'm very, very, very pro vaccination. It is such a laughably stupid argument to make. And I can't tell if he's because he's a boomer and totally out of touch, or if he's like super, super angry, feels personally offended, like, you know, liberal mainstream media never gave him the time of day when he was actually being harassed by the Bolsonaro government, while they got to fucking run around and say how brave they are because they were saying Orange Man bad or whatever. I think it's a bit vitriolic. I think it's a bit like his own personal anger. He just feels very angry. And that anger has blinded him from making like good commentary on the issue. But this is like a laughably pathetic attempt at doing any kind of like serious commentary.